Hey y'all, hey, my name is Nat and I'm here from Word on the Curb. And I stopped by tonight because, I want to share a few things with you. Word on the Curb podcast studio is all about what people are talking about on the street. That means the everyday people everywhere, what they're talking about, and what it means to them. And so, I have a few things for you tonight. Our topic is after the election, now what? Now what? What are we going to do now? What happens now that the election is over? And I just have a few things for you and a few points I want to make. So often we elect people to office and then leave them on the field to run the ball by themselves. And then election time, election time rolls around and we start complaining about, well, this hasn't happened and that hasn't happened. And you know what else we have a tendency to do? To leave a few people in charge and let them make decisions for the masses. And they are not always the best people to handle that job. I personally think, as a former elected official, that that job belongs to people who know the people and the community and what they're doing. I want to shout out Charles Boyer, Reverend Charles Boyer from the Mount Zion AME Church, because of the work he's doing with salvation and social justice. And I mean, listen, it's a big deal. It's really a big deal. So as I move forward in this discussion tonight and talk about joining hands, I'm talking about, people joining hands with people like Reverend Charles Boyer, because he's actually doing the work. He is getting it done. But I want to make a point here. I want to make a few points. After the vote, decisions made by a few impact the many. That's my story tonight. After the vote, now what? My first point, too few voices are at the table. There's not enough of us at the table. The table belongs to all of us after the vote. I want to be clear. The table belongs to all of us. And I don't care who creates it. If they're creating it in the best interest of the community that they're serving, that table belongs to all of us. Stop walking away and leaving people in charge who don't know anything about you. A handful of people show up to the public meetings and shape major decisions: zoning, funding, hiring, while most people don't even know the meeting happened. We got to stop that. All of us. The table belongs to all of us. You voted, stay active. It's called advocacy and action with all of us, not just a few of us. I appreciate and respect the work that Reverend Boyer is doing in the field of social justice and beyond, because it is significant. And I can't say that enough. It's significant. We can't keep letting silence be our representative. You have to go to meetings. You have to know what's happening in your community. And if you're not going, designate somebody else other than an elected official. And I'm speaking as a former elected official, to represent your best interests in partnership with the elected official. Did you get that? So somebody stands beside that elected official to ensure that the needs and the commitment is kept with and for the community. Keep the commitment. Promises made, promises kept. But you got to be present. Let's move on, right? We can't keep letting a few people make the decisions for all of us. There's no one person, and I'm going to say this a few times. Join hands with the people who are doing the work with and for your community. And leave those publicity hounds, the ones who are always snap, snap, and no real action and a lot of talk. Leave them to the cameras. Let them have the cameras. Join hands with the people who are actually doing the work. I promise you, all of this chitter chatter and complaining about what elected officials haven't done or what they need to do will change if you get active. Get active. Join hands. We can't have decisions made without representation of the people who voted. And you do know that voting is the power. That's the voice. But don't leave the voice there at the polls. Advocacy and action matters too. Get involved. Link up with people who are doing work. You know, there's a lot of people, even in my community, who do a lot of talking and they sound really, really good. They do. But they're not doing any real work. They're talking. And for those who are showing up for the camera every other day, they like the publicity. So is it publicity you want or advocacy and action? Get with the advocacy and action. And I promise you, a lot of your complaints will pretty much resolve themselves. Get involved. And that doesn't mean you have to be at every meeting, but stop letting everybody else speak for you. How is it that people, and I say this all the time, hey, and what doesn't apply, please let it fly. But I mean exactly what I'm saying. How do you let other people come to your neighborhood and make all the decisions for you? How does that work? How does that work? I'm asking you a question. When you get a chance, put it in the comments, please. Because a lot of you come back after the podcast. Policies get passed that don't reflect the community needs because everyday residents weren't part of the process. Charles Boyer is allowing you in his advocacy, and this podcast is not about Charles Boyer. It is not. I refer to him often because he's doing so much work and he's opened the table for everybody. Following the one who's doing the work doesn't mean you have to follow the crowd associated with it. Partner with people who are doing the work and not standing in the spotlight all day, every day, proving how important they are. We complain, but we've allowed the same faces to dominate the room. Let's rotate that room. Let's get some new faces in that room. Let's get some of the people who have voted and vote regularly and do the advocacy on the ground in that room. We settle for so little. We're impressed when people act on behalf to request that people do the jobs they're paid to do. We shouldn't be impressed with that. We shouldn't. If you've elected somebody, if there's somebody who's representing you at any level, at any organization, and they're not carrying your best interests, you better take another look. So I'm here tonight to tell you to rotate the people in the room. Rotate some of that leadership. Rotate and listen. Again, what doesn't apply, please let it fly. Because if I don't send for you, please don't come. Rotate some of that leadership. People who are in charge of organizations, people who are the connect to City Hall and the State House and the county. Rotate some of that. Bring new people in. You can tell real leadership when they invite people to the table who are interested in working. If you're voting and you're out there, getting some action and some advocacy, and I said, don't be impressed by people who make you believe they're working on your behalf because they're asking people to do the job that they were hired to do. Hold people accountable, all of them. The decisions about our community, this is anybody's community, should be reflective of the people in the community. That's right. Not just a few. How does everybody else own Trenton but Trenton? How does that work? Who's watching the store? Who? Who? Everybody owns businesses in Trenton except Trentonians. You can find that in Camden. You can't find that in New York. You can't find that in Washington. Bring the people back to home base. Give the folks who live and work in the community a chance to own and be a part of that community. And don't talk about it, be about it. And for all the advocacy groups out there, that's really what it's all about. And let me tell you something else. Every community needs services, but you need to ask yourself why Trenton has a nonprofit on almost every corner in the city. Nonprofits don't pay taxes. So you wonder why you're not getting services? Your tax base is not there. Do we need some nonprofits? Yes, we do. But they're everywhere. And people who don't live in our community bring all of these nonprofits to our community, which draws other people into the city who don't live here. And the people who don't live and aren't raised here come into they come by train, they come by plane. I worked for a nonprofit, the Mercer County Board of Social Services. People come from all over, as far as Florida and beyond, to get services here in Trenton. Spread some of that out. You think people from Hamilton aren't getting services in Trenton? They are. The rescue mission, the soup kitchen, the addiction services, the halfway houses, they're getting services here too. But they don't have that in their community. Some people aren't going to like that. But we have to start sharing the wealth in the nonprofit arena. And stop sitting around letting everybody else make decisions about what happens in your community. Rotate. Accountability has a tendency to fade after elections. That's not anybody else's fault but the voter. Start holding people accountable. Stop leaving the coach on the field. And a lot of that's going to change. A whole lot of it's going to change, right? Policies get passed that don't reflect community needs because everyday residents aren't involved. Get involved. Get involved. Don't let accountability fade. Promises made, promises kept. And stop letting a few people control everything. You're giving away your power. Stay engaged year-round. Schedule quarterly check-ins with local representatives. Ask what's being done, what's next, and how you can help shape it. Do you even know what your community needs? Do you know how to get it? This is not just for Trenton. Do you know how to get it? The real advocacy and action comes in when you know what your community needs, what policies impact you, how they impact you, and how you can help shape them so that your community benefits from them. We want to move from the polls to the benefits. that help our communities. And nonprofits, I love you, but you're flooding urban areas and robbing the tax base. You're not going to like that, and that's okay. But go share that nonprofit service in other communities because they're benefiting from it. They don't all have to come to urban areas to get it. Trenton, Camden, Philly, do you hear me now? Newark, do you hear me now? Yeah, let's turn it around. And for those of you who are scared of change, until something changes in your community, in our communities, nothing changes. Nothing. Let's change something. When we leave the table, we leave our future in the hands of the few. Our future belongs to you too. Get with it, get involved. Staying in the game means staying informed, involved, and intentional. Get rid of those loud mouths always in front of the camera. They ain't doing nothing for you. They're not. They're not. Power isn't in the title, it's in the turnout, it's in the work, it's in the commitment, it's in the involvement. That's where the power is. And the voices that refuse to sit it out and follow up give their power away. Stop giving your power away. Stop allowing a few to make the decisions for the masses. I'm not talking about elected officials. I'm talking about people that you let go to the head of the table and dictate what happens. Get with people like Charles Boyer, who's doing the work. Partner, join hands. You can have your own organization. Just partner with him. Or people like him who are actually doing the work. And remember what I said? Leave the camera to the publicity hounds. Stop letting people take your power. Stop giving it away. Stop allowing a few to control the many. That's where all our complaints come from. And stop letting people come into your community and take over. The bodegas, the grocery stores, the hair salons, the barbershops. Community, get back in your buildings, get back on your business, get back on your job. They don't live here, they don't contribute here, and a few of them do. Let me rephrase that. A few of them do. But for those who don't, they don't get back. Go to any bodega in your community and tell me if anybody who looks like you is working in there. I rest my case. Have a good night. My name is Annette. I'm here for Word on the Curb. Stay on the field. Do not leave people to run the ball alone. Be a part of it and learn the end game. Don't miss the strategy class again. There's another one coming up soon. That's right, advocacy in action. What now after the vote? Good night.